welcome to Test Your Might, fellas and women. This is the debate show, weekly debate show, and we've got some guests today. We've got the classic Mike back, and this time he's going to be debating. How do you feel about that?
I'm excited. It's good to be back, man. I just love podcasting, and I miss it so much when I don't podcast. So good to be back.
And then we've got Sean back to debate against Mike today. How do you feel today?
I'm feeling great. Honored to be here with other guest Mike.
All right. All right. Well, all right. I'm a little bit of a harsher judge. I judge based on the fight and the furiosity that you bring. So I hope you guys are ready to fight tooth and nail. Yeah. So as long as you guys get the details and bring it back fighting strong, you'll be good to go for this episode.
I mean, that means I'm just going to win because there's no ferocity in any of Sean's bones.
Well, it all comes down to the facts too. So we'll see.
You just said furious.
Furiosity. Yeah.
Can I share a quick story?
No, wait until we get to the what have you been playing. We'll do it there.
No, it's not about video games.
All right, go ahead. It's fine.
So, can I tell you guys about my day? So, I kid you not, I had work. Sean, I was talking to you on Xbox when I was like, I gotta go to work.
Yep.
And so I'm driving, and my tire blows out. So I'm literally on the side of the road, and this is a highway, mind you, so people are going 60 miles per hour past me and stuff like that. I'm on the side of the road, and my tire blows out by some roadkill, and it smells so awful. I'm hot as well, so I'm trying to turn on the air, but if I turn on the air, the roadkill just smells so bad, even worse. So I'm just like, screw it. So I reverse on my tire and go 15 miles or 15 seconds back or whatever. And I'm just like, this day is just so bad. And so I got a tow truck, not to mention my tire blows out. Guess what I have an appointment for tomorrow for my car?
Tire rotation.
New tires. So not only that, my tire blows out, new tires. I'm late for work, 2 hours late. It's all good. Now we're podcasting. That was my day, gentlemen.
Well, you had a pretty fun-filled day. I'm glad that you're podcasting now. You get to end it on a high.
Yes.
Again, this is Justin going to be hosting today. Test Your Might. Thank you for coming, everybody that's listening. Leave us a review if you want on any of your podcasts of preference, whatever platform of preference that you use. Podcasting's hard. And and you can leave us a review, either good or bad. Tell us what we need to improve or tell us how much you love our show. We've got a little bit of housekeeping before we get started. The 90s First podcast is going to be delayed, unfortunately, from this week. And we're going to be releasing it next Friday. So get ready for that for next Friday. And
that'll be the 24th.
The 24th, yes.
Do you wanna give them a little bit of a heads up of what we're doing?
Sure. We're gonna be we're actually watching the first two Toy Story movies, and we're gonna be discussing those in detail. And it's gonna be fun. So if you like Disney, come on and see us next Friday. And we'll get right into it with the question of the day. We're still in that series. Today's question is going to be, what is your favorite video game in a genre? And the genre is going to be open world first person shooter today. Let's go Sean first.
Skyrim. It's Skyrim. Elder Scrolls, Skyrim.
Okay.
I realize I feel like it's third person for most people, but it's first person for me, and it's catching butterflies and fighting dragons at the same time.
Okay. Yeah, I'll count it. There's bows in that. You shoot the bows. You're good. Mm-hmm. Mike, on you.
So it's really hard with you doing a shooter specifically.
There's a lot of them out there.
So, yeah, but like, and then first person too. Like, what? What
Well,
are you
Sean stretched
doing to
it.
me?
Sean stretched it with the option to go third person. GTA just recently did that. So you know, what do you got?
I don't know.
Great.
I want to say like Doom, but that's not even open world. I'm gonna. You know what? I had a really good time with. Far Cry 3, so I'm gonna say that Far Cry 3 probably my favorite. Far Cry Primal I played a little bit of, and then Far Cry 4 I played a little bit of. So I mean, they're all the same game, really. So
yeah, no, that counts. Mine is gonna be Borderlands, the original Borderlands. I played a lot of that, and just the gunplay in that is phenomenal. And then, open worldness. Skyrim's also a really good pick. I should have chose that.
So like, what do you shoot? And is it just bows and arrows in that you shoot? Well, there's
spells,
magic, right?
Spells are also shooting technically. Yes.
Okay.
There's no guns.
My words at NPCs,
Yeah.
That's hilarious. I am the Dragonborn. That's all I know about that game.
There's probably spells you can throw like smells at people, like dead roadkill or something.
Yeah.
There's mods for everything in that game.
Yeah. Let's move on to what have we been playing. Mike, you first. What have you been playing lately?
Oh man. So I have a Game of the Year update. Death's Door is my game of the year. I have beat it. It was glorious. Man, I love that game. It's so a lot of people like were saying like before it came out that it was kind of Souls-like, but I didn't get that in that way. This is definitely more of like a Zelda like kind of dungeon crawl style thing, where you're going to certain it's not necessarily dungeons, but it is certain worlds that you have to go through to obviously gain more power, gain more options for exploration and weapons and stuff like that. So it's definitely a little bit more Zelda-y to me. And after coming off like something similar a couple years ago with Link's Awakening back there, I like Death's Door it's just phenomenal. It's quirky. The design of it is amazing. Playing it on an Xbox Series X at 120 FPS, like you kind of actually feel that, and just the story in general, how intriguing, compelling, and then on top of it with the gameplay, it just, man, I just loved it. I thought the bosses were really, really unique and definitely challenging, but also rewarding when you memorize their pattern and you understand when to attack and when to be patient and stuff like that. So just I know you're stuck on Betty, so like,
yeah, no, I'm probably not going to pick it back up, but I loved every moment I played in it. And like you said, they are very unique. And it's not that it's a dungeon crawler, but each world seems like a dungeon to me. So you're moving through things, doing it as if it was a Zelda game. And I see where you're coming from.
I think you should pick it back up because you're literally like maybe an hour away from the end of the game. You're like so close if you're at Betty. So, I mean, definitely consider it. And guys, $20, like listeners, $20 for one of the best games of the year. Like by bar none, like definitely get it. And then to prepare for Psychonauts 2, I've actually started a playthrough of Psychonauts 1. It's been so long since I've played it and beat it. I was even telling Sean earlier today that I remember watching him play it as well when we were in high school. So like, just, man, it's been such a long time, and going through that right now, obviously it's a little dated in certain areas, but for the most part, it does hold up. And I think what is more amazing to me now is the Xbox's auto HDR. This game looks phenomenal for a for a 2005 game on my TV on the new hardware, it adds the HDR effect to it and brightens it up and makes it even more colorful, brings it to the modern era. And there are some shortcomings because it is an older game, but for the most part, like it definitely holds up and it's a lot of fun. So Psychonauts, a lot of people are saying Psychonauts 2 is their game of the year, so I'm just excited to jump into it. Yeah, excited. That's what I've been playing.
That's good. What about you, Sean? What have you been playing lately?
Definitely last time I was on here, I was in the middle of the MOBA curse. I've been playing Pokemon Unite. Probably a week or two after that, I became a Pokemon Master.
Okay.
Felt really good, and I immediately felt the curse lift, and I have not played that game in like a week or two, and it feels so good because it's such a meh game overall, but it had a hook in me.
I hear you.
That's exactly what I've heard. I've heard that it's so
I haven't picked it up because
meh.
of that.
I've heard that it's so meh, but it's addicting in its menace. Until like I've heard that.
Yeah, especially again, like I have the MOBA in me. I played League way too much in college.
Yeah.
And now I'm here. And I've seen a bunch of people in my like internet circles like start with Pokemon Unite over the past month and then drift pretty quickly into like Dota 2 or League, and it's been funny to see. But
Are you glad or
I'm not
are you
following.
glad? You're good. I was about to
I'm
say.
out. I'm out for now. Maybe until they put Swinub in, then I'll probably be back in for a little bit. But it's fine. And other than that, it's just been Destiny, which is good at being Destiny lately. And I played Psychonauts 2, which was
Yeah.
cute and charming in the way Double Fine is, but also improves on like the platforming and combat in a way that makes the entire experience more enjoyable. Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Dude, glad you liked it.
Yeah, good vibes. That's good.
Yeah.
I never played the first either, so it's like I'm gonna get into it sometime, but I haven't. I've been playing a few things. I've been dabbling in a few things. As viewers and listeners know, I've been playing Craftopia a bit, just an open world crafting teamwork game. Put it down to play a few little games. I played Splitgate for a little bit because I'm getting my Halo like antsiness because of the new flight coming later this month, and I want to get into that. So Splitgate's kind of keeping me on my toes for a little bit. I played this new game today for the first time. It just came to Game Pass from the company Pillow Castle, and it's called Superliminal.
Oh, yes, I've heard of this.
It is a puzzle game that deals with the dream world, and you're in the dream, and everything is based around perception and where you're standing and how you grab objects. Jelly needs to play this for sure. Shout out Jelly. It is the closest thing to Portal that I've played in a very long time.
Really?
I played it for about an hour and a half today, and I loved it. Other than that, Tuesday I got some free time to actually play some games, and my daughter was out of the house, so I was able to sit down and actually enjoy a sit-down game session. And I decided to go through Control for the first time, and I bought the DLC, and I finished the entire game, and all the DLC in one sitting.
Dang, getting ready for that Alan Wake remaster.
Exactly. The second DLC actually has Alan Wake in it, and to see him in the next gen with his voice acting, it was phenomenal, and I really enjoyed it. Control was a great game, third person, mind bending, telekinesis powers. Okay, it was good. Yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Definitely need to finish Control. Like the thing I was telling Sean this earlier because we were Xbox party chatting, and I was just like I only have time right now to mainline games. Like I'm not even focused on side quests and stuff like that. And so like which to me opens up such a breadth of content that I can consume at a quicker pace, because there's so many big like even games like such as Cyberpunk 2077, like I've heard is only like 20 hours to mainline the story game, and like I feel like that within my season of life right now, just the main story is manageable.
Yeah.
And so I've been really liking my video game time recently. I've put Apex on the side. I've played some single player games, and it's just been a lot of fun. So
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying gaming right now.
Yeah, agree completely. You know, to be able to put down something that you've, like me, spent a lot of money in, and pick up games that have been out for a while even, and just play through them and experience what you missed when they came out. And it's really enjoyable to just sit down and play those single player games. That's what I've been doing for the most part. But other than that, let's get into the news. We've got a few things here, not a lot, but one of the biggest announcements this past week was Nintendo activating Bluetooth on all of their Switches. I put quotations in that for the listeners. From every Switch from the launch of Switch on Bluetooth capable now, not microphone capable, but headphone audio capable. What do you guys think about that? Go ahead, Mike.
I'm happy that this is here, that it is an option, but it is in my mind offensively egregious. I mean, the fact that it was built into the system when it launched, for them to just be able to flip a switch and activate Bluetooth, like it did. So listeners, I majority of the time play my play my Switch either docked or on its kickstand with a controller, with my kid watching or something like that. So I always have the audio on through either speaker off the tablet itself or off my TV. So I mean, for majority of the time, this will not affect me. But the fact that people have been clamoring for Bluetooth and it was just a flip of a switch, like no pun intended. It's probably the most Nintendo has ever been Nintendo. Okay. I guess to phrase that. Sean, what do you think?
Yeah, I hadn't even considered that. Like, obviously, it's been there the whole time, and I just didn't activate it. Yeah, that's wild, and I agree. It's got to be the most Nintendo thing, at least for a bit.
Yeah, I know Mike.
I've been Nintendo.
Yeah, I know Mike knows. When I heard the news, I messaged it to both Jelly and Mike, and I was heated. I was at work at the time, and I was screaming. Like, the fact that Nintendo had this whole time, and we've been asking for it since day one. Why doesn't the Switch have Bluetooth? Why, and then they release the OLED, and they don't even say, hey, we're adding Bluetooth. Nothing. They're just going to flip a switch later on and be like, oh, yeah, by the way, that Switch you bought back when it launched, you got Bluetooth now. We didn't sneak in your house and put a chip in there or anything. It was in there the whole time. It made me kind of mad at Nintendo for kind of like just not caring that fans wanted it for this long, and it was secretly inside the Switch the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely see that argument. And as you know, I tried to calm you down. Because ultimately, like this, like in the grand scheme of life, it's not something to get extremely heated about. Like, yeah, Bluetooth was in there at the beginning. Like I said, for the majority of the time, it hasn't really affected me because I just play it docked. I mean, so like, it's just something that, like, yeah, this is like I said, and Sean agreed to, like, this is one of the most Nintendo things Nintendo has ever done. Like, it in the grand scheme of things, it's a cool feature now. I've heard that it's extremely laggy and
I
really
actually got a chance to try it, and it wasn't the best. It was laggy for myself as well, and the quality of sound wasn't anything to really, look at good. But it's nice to know it's there. Yeah. That's what's nice about it.
Yeah, and to that end, if it's there, it means that it can be improved because I mean, there's firmware updates can improve so many things nowadays, and Bluetooth will eventually be improved on the Switch, and it will be better than what it is now. But Sean, any more feelings on that?
Not really, no. I haven't tried that, so.
One of the things that really bothered me about it, it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things. It is a Nintendo thing to do, but I've learned about the Bluetooth in the Switch from a TikTok. I didn't learn about it from a Nintendo release or a tweet or a Nintendo press anything like that. I learned about it from some random person on TikTok saying, "Hey, by the way, look at this. I just saw this today." And I was like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like and listeners have already there have already been wireless options for the Switch, and people have bought those, and they work better than the built-in Bluetooth. So just continue using that. I mean, is what it is. Whatever your setup is, now you have this functionality. So if you want to go wireless, go wireless.
All right. Well, we got one other thing on the news for us today. Blood Rain, the PS1 title, PS2 title, PS1, PS2.
PS2.
I think it's PS2. Sean, PS2. I think.
Idea.
All right. Well, the first and the second one are getting a reboot, but they call it a revamped because there's vampires in it, which is kind of unique. It's coming out this fall, and not only that, but the PlayStation and the Switch are getting physical releases, yet the Xbox is only going to get a digital. Feelings?
I feel that it was PS2. I don't know. I never played these games. I think it's cool that things get remastered. But I mean, I guess we'll save that for the debate. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. Did you play these games, Sean, at all?
I did not. I feel like I had heard good things when I was a kid. There's a nice intimidating vampire lady on the front. She looks sick. So
Yeah, it's vampire
certainly
killing
didn't
for
think
sure.
those.
Yeah,
Wait, sick as in cool, or just she just
Cool.
oh,
like
maybe
not,
cool.
yeah, cool and not appropriate for
You
this
just got a
podcast.
cold. I mean, we've talked about GTA 5 almost every week since this podcast's inception.
Yeah, for real.
All right. Well,
speaking of that, we have some time. Justin, if I may interject, have you guys seen the articles recently that people are upset that GTA 5 is keeps getting announced, and a new trailer's there was a new trailer in the PS5 showcase the other day.
it got delayed as well.
And people got upset. They were like, "We're sick of GTA. Stop GTA 5. Stop talking to me about it." Did you ever play GTA 5, Sean?
I have not. And I didn't even see people. I've seen news about it recently, but it hasn't been people being mad about it being released again.
I mean, I'm all for the updated graphics and stuff, but it's just there's what are there 8 versions of this?
Yeah, it came out back in 2013, the original version. But look, it got pushed back to, I believe, next March, the newest version, or the
March
new
2022. But the rumor is, and they didn't expressly announce this, but the rumor is that the original single player DLC plan before GTA Online just boomed is going to be released.
Well, that's what they actually promised us when the game first launched. They said that they were going to be bringing DLC, but then online went big bada boom, and they just focused on that for the longest time.
Yeah, Sean loves your big bada boom.
Yeah, I'm a Fifth Element all the way. All right, are you guys ready?
No. but we're podcasting, so I got you ready, right?
Yeah, we're gonna go straight into it. Test your might time. Are you guys gonna do it? Let's go right into the first question here. With the coming months, I know we were just talking about this with remasters and reboots coming out. Blood Rain was just announced. this fall. Do you think that remasters or reboots are too much and they're getting out of hand, or do you think that it's okay and they should keep going? I'm going to give it to Sean first. He's the guest here. The more guest than Mike is.
This is
you can
my
choose-
podcast. I am not a guest.
you can choose whether to defend it and say that it is. It can keep going, keep making them, or the opposite. What do you think?
Man, I could just be a real jerk and steal Mike's opinion that he's already voiced. Seems squirm. But no, I'm gonna say, yeah, this is yeah, there's just too much of it. There's so many better ways to spend time and money, and like, yes, to some extent, devs want to be doing this because they love these old franchises. But to a lot of it is just, can we, the bigger company going like, yeah, can we make money off this? Let's do that one again. Yeah, I'll start with that.
All right, on to guest number 2, Mike.
And I'll finish with that. It's been too much. No,
I'm old. Get off my lawn.
yeah, I am. I'm gonna yell at a cloud.
I like the curiosity. Keep it going.
So, I believe it is good for the industry. And I guess I'm gonna start off this way. Like, my game of the year last year was Tony Hawk, a remaster. It was remaster 1 and 2. Not only does it give the opportunity for audiences of today to experience the great games that we experienced growing up, but it also just gives us also the opportunity to relive those memories. And so we're going from that angle first. But the next angle that I want to talk about is like, just games have this certain type of nostalgia and memories that comes with, graphics for the time as well. So like you remember the first time you booted up Mario 64 or whatever, and you just thought it was the best looking game ever or whatnot. And yeah, that did kind of get a remaster in a sense in that collection. It only got, changed to 16:9 it instead of the 4:3. It didn't really change much, but there are other examples of games that are given the remaster treatment that are rememberable enough that make it so joyful to revisit those experiences with higher fidelity, better graphics, and just better gameplay overall as well. I think of Mass Effect recently, the remaster, the remake, whatever that you want to call it. I could not play the original Mass Effect. It did not click with me. I beat the Legendary Edition Mass Effect in 2 weeks' time because the updates that they did to the gameplay, the graphics that they up-resed, and the HDR, the high definition stuff that they did to it, created an experience that was better than it was probably in 2007. So,
okay, Sean, rebuttal.
Yeah, I think the way to, the most of the time, a good way to share with anybody a game that you liked in your youth is to allow gamers to actually play the games that they used to play in the old way. I think a lot of times when people talk about, like, if they're my side of the position that I'm on right now, is they hammer on about how it strangles the room. It like leaves no less room for new visions of stories, which I totally agree with. But if I'm focusing in on one aspect of it that's less talked about, which is that it gives companies an excuse to keep just letting archival work just fester and like fall off the ground. They're like, well, because they get to go, yeah, so all the ones that mattered, we've just remastered, and
Okay.
let's ignore how that fundamentally changes some things in games, which corrupts our, not corrupts, but like changes our memory of it because now we remember how it is now, and that's all we have institutionally. But then like we have things at the same time. We got Mass Effect and Tony Hawk last year, but we also got like all of PS Online from PS3 and back just like gone,
Hmm.
and that's no bueno.
Okay, so that whole nostalgia feel, how are you going to rebuttal that, Mike?
I don't know. Like, first of all, PlayStation walked that back. They still have their online store. So, bam, gotcha on that one.
It's still garbage though.
No, yeah, I mean, but it's still there. um, no, like, okay, I agree with you that at the end of the day, like, it would be more beneficial to utilize the talents that companies have to create new IPs, new experiences, new stories. I do agree with that. But I think it's important as far as not only game preservation in preserving these experiences, but giving, like, I do harken back to Tony Hawk, and like Tony Hawk, although that when you go back to the original, it's still very playable. It's still worth maybe checking out. I think if you go to the remaster first, not only you're going to have a better experience, but you're going to have the experience that the developers intended first off, because they had the ability, Vicarious Visions had the ability to make the Tony Hawk game as skateboardy as possible in that sense. Even though it is arcadey, it is more realistic feeling, I guess is what I'm saying. And I don't know, as far as like the ability to just update gameplay is so huge to me, because like there are so many games back in the day that are just unplayable, and to bring those to the modern era, to update the gameplay a little bit, to create an opportunity for even me, somebody who did not play all the hard platformers back in the day, that I just couldn't do, because I'm terrible at platformers anyway. 2D platformers, sorry, 3D platformers I'm okay with, but just given that ability to have a better experience gameplay wise, I think is worth it.
Okay, Sean, final swings.
Yeah. You can't bring in original developer intention into this argument, because after so many years, honestly, after like 2 years, the same devs aren't on the same. It's not the same people making the game.
Okay.
So whatever their intention was, even if we want to factor it in, it's gone. But also, I mean, death the author, man. The game is what it is. It's the experience that it is. And again, if something's unplayable, that's something worth, quote unquote unplayable, that's something worth remembering, and having access to. I'm not saying there can't be any remakes, but there's too many. I'll even throw you a compromise here, based off Blood Rain. If you're going to remake something, only revamp it. Go back to the world, make everyone a vampire. Only thing I'm accepting.
I'm gonna call it there. I think I'm gonna reluctantly give it to Mike on this one. I side with Sean on this 100%, but Mike had a better argument. He brought lots of points about accessibility for the new age. I prefer the nostalgia feel and getting the old console in your children's hands or in your friends' hands and having them experience it the way that it was created. But the battle goes to Mike on that one.
And there's some debates that I just don't feel like I should have won, but thank you.
It was the curiosity, I'm telling you.
I totally forgot I was going to bring up the argument that like like bringing N64 games to the new age instead of having your child experience that dumb controller. like I think that would be,
that's part of the
there's still, and like again, this goes back into like lack of preservation. There's still like use a ROM, you don't need an N64 controller if you play it other ways.
true.
Redacted.
But also, that is also historically important too, having that controller there. But
yeah.
No, yeah.
On to round 2.
Yeah, round 2.
All right. So with The Witcher doing great on Netflix, new season coming up, Ubisoft is getting behind the wheel with Driver, the old PS1 game, and they're going to bring a live-action TV show to that. So pick a video game from the PS1 and turn it into a TV show. Pitch your idea. Sean, you lost the last one. Go ahead.
I didn't do the research to remember the game I really wanted to do, which was Guilty Gear. But so instead, we're gonna go with not very far behind second choice, the Oddworld series. Both Abe's Exodus and Abe's Odyssey are either of
dang.
you familiar?
I'm
Okay.
familiar.
Games?
Yeah.
All right.
All right.
So, you're playing. Well, not playing. You're watching. We got a very charismatic, lovable goof, Abe, who he and his people have been imprisoned by a giant megacorpse, and it's just his journey to, set his people free. There's a lot of drama there. There's humor. We're gonna get all 4 quadrants of the TV viewing audience.
Okay.
Yeah, it's gonna be a sweet show.
All right, Mike, what you got?
I'm gonna. I know that you are, basing your judgment on, just
Curiosity.
the curiosity of the argument. But I'm gonna pull a Justin here. So hang on.
Oh, okay. Sean just got Pokemon Master, so
I'm nervous. I'm so nervous.
Let me tell you a story.
for the listeners, he just flipped his hat around.
The story goes back to young Mike. He was hanging around with his cousins. Shout out to Allison and Tommy. And my uncle, their dad, Uncle John, he was an amazing man. He was also a video gamer, and he owned a PlayStation 1. And when I was at his house, me and my cousins were there, we would watch him play Tomb Raider nonstop. And then when he gave us a chance, there's only one game that would be popped into the PlayStation 1. And that was Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot is going to be our TV series, but also I think there's a plethora of possibilities with this character. You have one of the best spin-off games of all time, which is Crash Team Racing. Let me tell you, my kids love Mickey Mouse Club, but you know what iterated on that formula? Mickey Mouse Roadster Racers. Yes, let me tell you, it is a better show. It is more fun. And you can have just a complete series of all the Crash Bandicoot characters and their hijinks and all that. And then it breaks off to do like maybe a racing episode or whatnot. I imagine this being something similar to that. You got Crash Bandicoot as the main character. You got Aku Aku, he's doing his old just dancing around type thing around you while you're walking. And then you have evildoers such as Dr. Neo Cortex. Like, this is a perfect option, dude. You got the love interest. You got the love interest for Crash Bandicoot as well. It's just, the characters are there. The story element is there. It would just be like an anthology series in the sense of like Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, where they would just be doing something different every day, and we're having fun the right way. Okay.
All right. Crash Team Racing or Crash Bandicoot, the TV series. Target audience a little bit more skewed than Sean's. Go ahead, Sean, with the rebuttal.
I'm just in awe of Crash Bandicoot.
Oh, and we're revamping this one as well, by the way.
Wow. A Vampire Bandicoot, you're telling me.
I'm just messing around.
I can fight this anymore.
I'm just messing around.
Wait, is that canon?
Probably watch a lot of those games. Yeah, I mean, look, we've moved. TV has moved past having just a butt,
just a butt. Is that what you
having
just
a butt. What? No.
Redacted, forspoken. Continue.
TV's moved forward into a way where we have cohesive narratives in a way that Oddworld would fit better than a bunch of Crash missions going in and out. As much as I like you sold me on the Mickey Mouse Roasters thing, I'll check that one out. But I think
Tune in for one episode.
It's just
exactly.
It's just a kid's show. You won't watch it. I don't trust
Okay.
you.
All right. But anyway, Abe's Odyssey, the whole Oddworld franchise, which you could get into, we could also get spinoffs here with that stuff. But even with just in those two games, we have tight narrative arcs that can get you a season or two of investment and a good time well spent with these lovable Mudokons, again, including Abe.
Dukins?
It's got everything that a teacher, not a teacher, wow, a TV show needs. It's got
Everything a teacher needs.
everything that a teacher and a TV show needs. Why not just hit both of them right here? It's got,
I
again,
imagine somebody walking in with one of those CRT TVs on a cart in a classroom.
exactly. Yeah,
And it would be a
it'll
that
run
can be
well.
sh-
It'll look good on the CRT too.
Exactly.
It'll look good on all screens.
It's not
because of the art style.
It'll
It'll be a review. Yeah. So again, it's got a story that's cohesive. It's concise. You can get in and out. It has plenty of room for product placement. That is an inherent part of the show. And as we all know, even things that critique certain things end up, falling into them quite a bit. So, there's going to be vending machines galore, as is canon in the universe. So let's get some good product placement there so we get the funding for the show that we need and people can feel good about, what's happening in here. You get cutaways to various characters in the world already, just in the games. It doesn't only focus on Abe, and you get cool little funny side stories to break, what could be an oppressive story, even with, how wonky these characters are. Adding levity, it still adds a little extra breather to, the intensity of the show, which of course people are gonna love. It's maybe not the era of HBO anymore, but right now, but we're still like in that phase where like people want series TV that sometimes they can laugh to, and I think Oddworld's the best pitch for that.
Okay. I want to ask a question for both of you. What station or what broadcast service, streaming service would your show air on? Sean.
Nope.
Go ahead, Sean.
This feels like a Netflix to me.
Okay, Mike.
Yeah.
Peacock.
Oh, that's for spoken.
So ferocious.
No.
All right, Mike, get a rebuttal in, and then I'm going to call it.
Yeah, I think there's more longevity to my show. One, I think the animation style of Crash Bandicoot just translates a little bit better to like an animated TV show. But also, I think there's a brevity of villains that you can create different seasons for as well. I mean, like you have like people like Pinstripe Potteroo, like you remember Pinstripe from the original? Come on now. You have Ripperoo, you have obviously all these different villains, and obviously the big bad and Dr. Neocortex. You got Coco Bandicoot as the love interest as well, or just like the team up, like going through each of the seasons, stopping each of the villains. Like it would create a really fun and inviting show, which is what kids like nowadays. Like they like it. I mean, PJ Masks is huge. I don't see maybe Crash like skewing towards that low of an age, because I think Crash is still a little more crass and a little more adult, but in the sense that like this would just be a good, just like serial TV show going through the seasons, battling each of the big bads. I think you have some really cool settings too in Crash. Like, yeah, you said there's good settings in Oddworld, and I've seen screenshots. I'm not going to disagree with that. I haven't played it, but I'm not going to disagree with that. But ultimately, like, I think you have like just so many cool different level designs that could translate really well into a TV show, such as like some of those like Temple Run episodes, like just basically running away from a boulder, stuff like that. Like I just think it translates well. I probably didn't argue this well, so whatever. Crash Bandicoot.
Well, it's good for me that I've played both of these series. I haven't played the newest Crash, the Crash 4, whatever that is, but I've played all the others, and I've played both the Oddworlds all the way through. I think that you were wrong when you said that Sean didn't have any fire in him, because he brought the heat this challenge, and I think Sean wins this one. I think so too. Peacock doesn't really have a good streaming service. Netflix does.
It was a joke. But you're taking that seriously?
But also, the target audience. Yours is strictly for the kids, and adults might get the nostalgia feel to look in, but people aren't doing that with Rugrats and the new shows that are coming out. With Oddworld, the audience is much larger. So I think that does take the cake on that. Also, the scenes and everything, both of them have great stories. But the fact that Sean's can cut away and tell different stories of different characters and continue the main story with humor and adult themes and kid themes, I think it would do better.
I mean, the cake is a lie, though. So, I mean, it just it doesn't matter.
Well, it's 1-1. On to round 3. All right. No revamping this time. No revamping this time. Okay. So, Rumor Town.
How dare you?
Rumor Town is hit again. Okay. There's a rumor going around. Someone posted a tweet. Someone that recently or previously has shown screenshots of Starfield. So it's got a little bit of validity, not a lot. It's still grain of salt material. But Microsoft is apparently looking into buying a new business, just it could be anything, a new acquisition that is going to be large like Bethesda was. Mm-hmm. Now, we didn't hear anything about Bethesda when they made that acquisition. It came out of the blue. No one knew anything was going on. This time, there's these rumors, and the quote that this Twitter guy said was, the internet lawyers are going to be debating monopoly laws because of this acquisition.
This Twitter guy.
This tweet guy. So I want you guys to pick a company and tell me why they would acquire that company and why it's better than your opponents. Now, this could be a gaming company, a publisher, it could be a communications company, it could be anything that you guys are looking into. So, Sean won that one. Mike, you up first. Don't forget curiosity.
Yeah, I'll be a little bit furious here. So, for me, Sean, I'm not really going to skew the way of like this would cause a monopoly, because I don't know if this company, I don't think lawyers would come after that idea if they did this company. I was thinking about Sega, but that's been a rumor for so long. I want to go out there because
that is the question though. It must spar a monopoly from the lawyers of the internet.
The question in the outline said what company should be grabbed.
Okay. All right, revamp. What company?
So, again, the rumor has been Sega. I think Microsoft is on a streak of getting developers that create phenomenal content, but need help. And what studio needs help more than CD Projekt Red right now? I think Microsoft might be looking to get CD Projekt Red. I don't think that this will happen. Is Sean frozen? Is Sean frozen on your screen?
Yeah.
Sean, did we lose you?
I hear Sean. I hear Sean.
I hear Sean. Okay. Anyway.
I'm free.
Anyway, listeners would thought we lost Sean. Anyway, I think that Microsoft is on a streak of getting a lot of companies that are on the low right now, which CD Projekt Red is. They had a terrible December in the release of Cyberpunk, and they really haven't seen any levity to that yet, right? Like they're it's still being poured on in that sense. And I look at the case of like Double Fine, right? Where Double Fine was, they were trying to kickstart Psychonauts 2. They didn't know where the funding was going to be. They're kind of like on the precipice of like just not being able to sustain themselves. And then all of a sudden Microsoft swoops in, not to like ultimately like think about this monopoly, right? I don't think that was Microsoft's intent, but I think their intent has always been to bring these developers under their wing. Yes, it is an acquisition. I understand that. And by the way, this is a hard debate to argue, Sean, because Sean hates acquisitions. So like I'm trying to like swing it in a sense that like I think Microsoft, yes, they are acquiring these developers, but ultimately they are bringing them under their wing and letting them and allowing them to continue their creative process with freedom of finances, right? In that sense. And that's exactly what they did with Double Fine. Double Fine was given that opportunity to stop their current development on Psychonauts 2 in the sense that like they didn't even have bosses in the game before Microsoft bought them. They did not have bosses in Psychonauts 2. They cut bosses out of the game because they couldn't afford it. And so Microsoft comes in and now they can't afford it, and now we have a Game of the Year contender. I think they could do that with CD Projekt Red because I think they already have the marketing like relationship that they have. They have a cooperation in that because Xbox was the marketing team for both The Witcher 3 as well as Cyberpunk 2077, and I think it would just be a really good fit because they are a developer that is on the down right now, and Microsoft would be able to help them and hopefully maybe help change the culture as well, because I think Microsoft's culture is amazing right now, and would really create CD Projekt Red to be the developer that they always wanted to be, but help. And so I think that would be. And okay. I do think CD Projekt Red is Bethesda size in not necessarily like the amount of studios that Xbox acquired when they bought Bethesda, but like as far as big budget game developers, I think CD Projekt Red is on that same level.
Okay, so we got CD Projekt Red over on Mike's side. Sean, go ahead with yours and maybe talk about how it's going to benefit Microsoft and how it's going to be better than Mike's.
Sure. Yeah. Before I get started with the argument, I need to take a moment, and I swear that this is not going to be trying to influence you, the judge, in an inappropriate way. But I need to start out by thanking you because last time we were on this show, I was burdened by the weight of reality and possibility, and I saw you beautifully up in the sky like a bird, just weightless, just pitching anything that could be beautiful and free. And over the course of the month, I've reflected on this and I've hit this conversation, and I'm about to make an argument that represents how free my mind has become thanks to you, Justin. So
yes,
thank you.
Curiosity, bring it.
Activision Blizzard is getting acquired by Microsoft. It's for many reasons.
All right, well, Sean wins, okay.
No, it's for many reasons, one of which will likely not resonate with many people, but is very dear to me. But I'll start with the popular ones. One, obviously, be a butt ton of money. Getting a bunch of esports money, getting a bunch of like goodwill from a bunch of like classic games, including I believe the recent Tony Hawk remasters. But what's most important to me is what Microsoft can do for their image and for the gaming industry as a whole with this acquisition, which is which is reform the company Activision Blizzard. Right now, they have been in a months-long struggle, being sued by the state of California for fostering a frat boy culture. They've recently had a wave of strikes that that workers are alleging the company is trying to strike break. I think Microsoft needs to come in here and clean up that mess. which gives them the goodwill of helping the workers and helping the gamers get quality games that they don't need to worry about how they were made,
Did
and also
Microsoft
make a
just
bunch
get
of
an
money.
achievement for buying Activision?
That's how it goes.
It's possible. Oh, buying Blizzard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Activision's the company.
Yeah.
Blizzard is the developer underneath them.
Okay, Sean, good pitch. Size, quality, comparison towards Bethesda, great. CD Projekt Red's a little bit lower on that spectrum for size, and I don't think it would cause a monopoly. But Mike, rebuttal for your CD Projekt Red.
I dislike arguing against Sean's argument because I do believe Microsoft can change their culture, and their culture is sucks. It just flat out sucks right now. And so I don't want to argue that. And so I'm going to take a little bit more of a cynical argument. Activision will never sell. They will never sell. They literally own the franchise that sells the most every single year. Every single year, Call of Duty sells every single year.
Mm-hmm.
It is the number one on the charts. Activision will not sell. I mean, it's just, although
we thought the same thing about Bethesda, though.
No, we didn't. But no, I don't think we ever thought that. That was so surprising about Bethesda. The problem is that Bethesda never had Call of Duty. Like, Call of Duty is a juggernaut of its own, and I'm not even mentioning World of Warcraft. I'm not mentioning Overwatch. I'm not mentioning Diablo coming out now. I'm also like all of this stuff, like, Activision just is a company that, although going under Microsoft's wing would probably be a benefit to the company, in what Sean's argument is, I agree with that 100%. I can't disagree with that. But Activision Blizzard, they just will not sell. They own juggernaut titles. They own so many IPs, and I just don't see it as a foreseeable option for Activision. Like, Microsoft has the money. They're $1 trillion company. They could do it in that sense. But there's no way. Activision just will not sell.
All right, do you want to talk up CD Projekt Red at all and defend on why it's better than, or why it's going to benefit Microsoft? Not why it'll benefit from Microsoft, but how will Microsoft benefit from it?
Wait, me?
Yeah, you.
Oh.
You have CD Projekt Red.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I was rebuttaling. I mean, I think it's a similar boat where they don't have a frat boy culture, but they do have a crunch culture and a toxic work environment in that sense. And I think Microsoft can take them under their wing and change the culture there as well. You're looking at the ability to give a developer the time and the money and the resources that they need to make Cyberpunk the biggest game that they wanted to make. And what at the core of Cyberpunk is actually a really good game. But for them to build it out, to have that time, to have the good graces of gamers under the Microsoft wing, I think that would certainly help. Witcher is huge. Like, Witcher 3 is, I mean, almost just as big as GTA. Like, it is that much of a juggernaut. People think of Witcher so highly. And plus, CD Projekt Red has so many other games coming down the pipeline, and I just think it's a good time to scoop them up because they're on the down. They will benefit Microsoft. Microsoft is once again trying to bolster their content, and they are bolstering the motto that they are now the Western RPG console. And what better company than CD Projekt Red, who has made some of the best Western RPGs out there.
Okay. Sean, any final thoughts? Any rebuttal you want to fight back?
I'm just gonna keep upping how excited we all are for this nice acquisition. Think of all the Game Pass choices that we're getting in here, it's gonna become truly
Game
the
Pass.
Netflix successor.
Okay.
And I think, I'll touch on the realisticness. I mean, again, I've broken free of such expectations, but I can justify this. Investors want money now, and yes, they're getting money yearly from Call of Duty and like a couple of times during the year from other things, but you hit them on like a couple months after a Call of Duty, they're wanting some more money immediately. And if Microsoft just makes sure that that deal closes at the end of the next quarter, you can sell it to somebody over there.
They're not hurting for money. They'll sell Call of Duty. They
It's not
have
about hurting.
Warzone.
It's not about hurting.
They have Warzone
people in
as
their
well.
position always want more money.
I saw the other day that Warzone was being streamed and played by over 60,000 people and being streamed by close to 5,000 people who all are buying microtransactions.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna call
there's
it.
a bunch of
I'm gonna call
investors.
I'm going to call it completely unbiased, and not because Sean talked me up, but I do believe that Blizzard Activision would be the acquisition that would win this argument, just because of how much they would get from it, how much Microsoft would gain from it, instead of just getting The Witcher, which they already
talk
have.
about that though.
instead of CD Projekt Red's Cyberpunk, they're going to be getting all of these other games coming to Game Pass. You got Diablo that you mentioned. You got Overwatch that you mentioned. You already talked him up in his argument. So Sean won his argument from your defense. And
Nope.
Sean, another good point you could have said was the mobile front, because they do have King Studios as well. So they'd be able to get all the mobile front microtransactions as well from the same game, which would be a monopoly in my sense. The biggest mobile front. All right, we're gonna move
Wasn't
on.
your question?
That you chose CD Projekt Red. It's your fault.
No, Monopoly wasn't your question. It says what company should it be, and why is it better than your opponents?
And
Like, really banking on the curiosity.
It also wasn't why you think it won't happen or why the opponents won't happen. It's the opponent thinks this is going to happen. You think this is going to happen. It's not a valid thought. All right.
Sean, realistically, is Activision selling?
I'm gonna be on this. I've told you. I've ascended. I'm ready for the next question.
All right.
Oh my goodness, they're not selling. There's no way.
Money talks, okay? All right, well, I'm getting...
and they have the money. They don't need more.
They could always get more. Money talks. All right, well, the blind quick attack.
Oh, he's got an envelope for this.
Yeah, so we're going to take a swing at the blind fight that we used to do and also the quick attack. So the two guests here, number 1 and number 2, have not seen this
thing
question.
1 and thing 2.
And this is going to be the first time they hear it. And then what's going to happen is they're going to each get a minute to pitch their idea. And then a 30-second rebuttal back and forth. And that's it. And I'll pick based on that.
We get a 30-second closing argument as well.
Okay. All right. Well, then it's a total of 5 minutes. Gotcha.
4
Are
minutes.
you guys ready to hear the
nice
question?
Math.
You guys ready?
Sure.
Yes.
You sure? Sure.
Mm-hmm. I'm so scared.
This is a good one.
Sean said. Right.
Yeah. So now, Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is pretty far off. But what do you think they could add to the game to make it better than the first? And why would your version be better? All right, so Mike lost that argument. He's going to go first on this one, and I have the timer ready for the minutes, which I will hold up for you guys going. Whenever you start talking, I will start it.
Is that a switch? What is that?
No, that's a Tabo.
Oh, okay.
It's a revamped tablet. It's going to bite me.
Okay.
Go ahead.
So it starts when I start talking?
Yes.
Okay. All right, listen. I have said it before. Breath of the Wild is a phenomenal game, but I just don't vibe with it. And so I'm spinning your question on its head, and I'm saying this is what they need to take away from Breath of the Wild 2, and that is weapon breaking. I do not like that system. It it has for the foreseeable future stopped me from ever going back to that game, because even though the world is expansive, the world is awesome to explore, people are still finding secrets and glitches. If I get stuck, if I get close to an enemy and I lose the weapon that I would like to use against it, and I don't have any arrows and all my bows break, like, it's just not fun to me. And just to make a game a little bit more accessible and give the opportunity to the player, I think they need to get rid of the weapon breaking system.
All right. All right. Are you ready, Sean?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Whenever you start.
Hold up. Is it just one thing, or how many? Can it just be one thing?
It's whatever you want to add to the
Okay.
game to make it better than your opponents.
Excellent. All right. So, Genshin Impact, everyone knows it because it is a big Chinese game that a lot of people think rip off Breath of the Wild. I think it's time for Nintendo to steal some ideas back, including having switching a team of characters that you switch between. Let's get some Zelda action. Everyone wants it in Breath of the Wild. Here it comes. You're playing Link and Zelda. They both have cool movesets. We both know they have them because of the Age of Calamity 2. Not Age of Calamity 2, whatever the Dynasty
Hyrule Warriors.
Hyrule Warriors 2. There we go. This is Age of Calamity that we're talking about. The other thing that they are going to be adding that will be inspired by Genshin Impact is those like trials temples that you have in Zelda. There's going to be a wider variety of tasks involved. Genshin Impact has shown us that this type of game can have things like tower defense, a better fishing thing, and cooler puzzles, and that's what you're going to find trying to get all those collectibles in Breath of the Wild 2.
All right. Before the timer stopped, 30 seconds from Mike.
Let's see.
You ready?
No, I'm not. Hang on. Let me just.
You don't get time to think of your thoughts. This is quick tag.
What? I can think of something here. The clock doesn't start until I start talking.
I'll give you a 10-second countdown.
Oh my goodness. All right, I will give you Zelda. I think that if you add more of the breadth, I think if you add more characters than just Zelda, it will be too cumbersome in the world that you are exploring. I think if you just give just Zelda, like, that's perfect amount. You could switch between those two characters to explore the world. It's just something where they've already announced Zelda potentially being as a character, and I think that would be fine.
That's it. So Mike just defended your game.
Yeah. No, I didn't. I said if he talked about way more characters.
Yeah, but then you said 2 would be enough, which would still be adding, but that's not defending your game.
Oh, stop it. You stop interjecting your thoughts.
I'm just letting you know that you're losing. I want you to pick it back up. Well, you'll have closing statements. Ready, Sean?
Yeah, sure. I'm ready. Yeah, I pitched characters. Final pitch was with Zelda. I think you could have, like, maybe alternately, depending on where you are in the story, one or more. In the last game, there was the story of, like, the 4 heroes. I think if you're in their zone, maybe you could add them to your party just as a little, like, hey, here's a cool new thing to do, and they'd have their own, like, cool little moveset that wouldn't be super overwhelming because you'll have time. It's a big open world to, like, try out those abilities first, but also not getting boring because you'll switch out.
All right, Mike. Final thoughts. Your closing statement. Defense on your own game.
Zelda has been such a timeless classic, and what we grew up playing and experiencing were abilities that you gained through exploring dungeons that never broke, and you always had the opportunity to explore and utilize those in the world surrounding you. And that's what Breath of the Wild 2 needs. You need to bring back some of the dungeon aspects. You need to bring back some of those things where you can experience the game in full without any hindrance.
All right. Sean, you ready?
Yeah.
The last one, closing argument.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I'm ready. Let's go. So yeah, I think everyone here has already been hyped by this. I think the character switching is like the coolest new dynamic that they could add to it again with We All Want Zelda. And it's proven that these mechanics that I'm like hinting at work again because they've worked in another game, and it would be nice to have them in with the Nintendo Touch, and also not attached to a gotcha system.
All right. Jeez. You know, multiplayer pretty much, but single player with multiple characters. And then you've got the dungeon crawling aspect that we all miss from Zelda back in the game without breaking weapons. Personally, I like the breaking weapons. It adds a new skill level to the game that keeps you going for better stuff. Now, the Master Sword, I don't know if that breaks. Never got it. But
It doesn't. It's on stamina, so it doesn't break, but it's on a stamina.
Okay. Because that's the only weapon that shouldn't break. I'm gonna have to give it to. God, I played Hyrule Warriors and it was a phenomenal experience, and I do think that it works very well, and that would bring a new aspect that would be better than just God, the trials too. I think Sean's got it on this one. He's got the different aspects of the trials. He's got the different characters switching in and out, playing as Zelda like Hyrule Warrior style. He's got a lot of
Warriors, to be clear.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
It's definitely a revamped version of Breath of the Wild, that's for sure. And I think it's going to do good. Unfortunately, Mike, you lost that one. On to the leaderboard. Sean wins for the night. The leaderboard tonight.
That's a hard one to argue just because I didn't finish the game. Like I don't know what to add to the game. So I wouldn't be able to argue.
Wait, I would have, if I was in your shoes, I would have at least changed it to what we're gonna add to the game is infinitely durable weapons.
All right. Well.
Yeah, I mean that's basically what I did, but
yeah, but you gotta spin it, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, so the leaderboard tonight is going to be the top 5 movies that became video games. So what games are the best? The top 5 movies to games. Let's go with the winner of the night. The person who is broken free. Sean, first. Give me your top 3.
Yeah. I don't. Give me a second.
I thought you were doing the Final Fantasy sound.
Absolutely. All right. Games based on movies. Kingdom Hearts. Based on movies, plural. It's definitely hitting it. Matrix Online.
Okay.
I don't remember which Lord of the Rings game I liked on the PS2, so I'm going to instead say Alien Isolation.
Wow, taking it from my book. Okay. All right. Great game. Mike, go ahead.
So the best on the PS2 was, and I also played it on GameCube, was Lord of the Rings 2 Towers. And so I'm going to definitely put that on my list. So Lord of the Rings 2 Towers. Are you typing this out, Sean or Justin?
I'm writing it up.
Okay, because I could type it in our outline. Sean, what was your 3?
It was Kingdom Hearts.
And Matrix Online.
And you got Alien, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, where's Kingdom Hearts? And what was it?
The Matrix Online.
Matrix Online.
Yeah, Matrix Online.
Okay. So I'm doing the 2 Towers. Dude, I should get that game. I wonder how much it is on eBay.
First one, go.
So one of my favorite games of all time is actually based on a movie, and Batman Begins. Like, I promise you guys, Batman Begins is one of the best video game adaptations of a movie. Like, it is so good. It is so fun. Shout out to Chris Clow. He has a phenomenal episode on Batman Begins on his Comics on Consoles podcast, and he talks about how there are so many things in Batman Begins that Rocksteady took for Arkham Asylum, and just like Batman Begins started a lot of that stuff. Like detective mode was in there, the ability to use weapons during your combat was in there, stuff like that. Batman Begins is a phenomenal game. I won't be told otherwise. This is not up for debate. And then the other one, I don't want to go superhero just again because like I feel like superhero because Spider-Man 2 was great, so
put it out there.
I don't know.
It's on my list.
It is on your list?
Yeah, just take all my stuff. I got other stuff.
You did not choose Batman Begins or Two Towers.
Oh no, I didn't choose those. Spider-Man 2.
It's on Alien and Spider-Man, yeah.
Alien and Spider-Man 2. Each of you took one. Go for it.
Should I do Dragon Ball Evolution?
Oh.
Oh, that's probably really bad.
We're smoking that. Continue.
You know what? I'm gonna go out of left field. I think it's a really good asymmetrical game, and it has the elements of the franchise in it that just make for a great experience. And it's scary. It's fun. We're going Friday the 13th, which was the recent one.
Yeah. The Xbox One.
Yeah, where one person is Jason, and the others are camp counselors, basically, and they have to escape. So, yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay. All right. Mine, shout out Jelly, myself, everyone else that's ever lived in the 90s. GoldenEye for the N64.
I was keeping that for you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. One of the best games I've ever played and
I
grew up
cannot
with.
type tonight. Holy cow. I'm too frazzled from losing all those debates.
I'm going to go with Alien versus Predator for the Xbox 360, the 2010 one. Okay. 3 different campaigns. You play as aliens, you play as, all 3 of the different. Yeah. And it was a great game. Also an alien game. Other one. And I'm going to go with The Lion King. 1994, that's Super Nintendo or Sega Genesis.
I think Aladdin was better.
I don't know. I like
the best sound in video games.
Those 2 games, definitely.
The Lion King has the best sound clip in video games. So.
Oh, which one's that?
The rower or whatever.
Wow. Wow. Just like that.
Sure.
All right, so we got to whittle this down to the top 5. Go ahead, Sean, with your you have to have this one.
You
can pick from anybody's list, so go ahead.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Oh man.
No, his must-have has to be from his 3.
No, you could choose from anything. You can take someone else's must-have.
That has never been the rules.
There's no rules written.
Look, you probably.
You're just a guest today.
Been on. Yeah.
You're just a guest. You're guest number 2. Relax.
I'm gonna sow chaos in
number 2. Kingdom Hearts.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. And Mike, your must-have.
It's
from any list.
It's Batman Begins.
Ugh.
Wow.
I'm gonna have to go with GoldenEye for sure. That has to be on there.
Well, it's not enough.
All right, so let's pick our other 2. I will debate for AVP or Alien Isolation. One of the 2. Both are phenomenal. The Alien Isolation really does hit a lot of the cinematic quality into a game more than I'd say any of these other ones. Friday the 13th has a little bit of elements. I would give it that, but Alien Isolation really puts you in that movie.
At least in this conversation, I think The Two Towers is universally thought of as one of the best movie game adaptations of all time. So I mean, I think that might have to hit our list. That's just me. I've never played Matrix Online, so no offense to that.
Let me pitch you on why the Matrix Online is so fundamental to this list.
Okay, I played the
far as-
Enter of Neo or whatever on the Xbox. What was it? A different Neo game.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So the Matrix Online, as far as I know, is the only one on these lists that is both like a adaptation from a movie and also is affecting canon for future movies in the franchise on its own.
Okay.
There's a reason, if you've seen the recent Matrix trailer, that a certain individual is not in it, and that is because he died in the Matrix Online near the very end of it,
Yep.
thanks to the way the story went, and I believe player decisions. The way there's nothing more like Matrix than an MMO, so I think the pairing of the two works very well. As much as I did enjoy that Matrix game that I played that was single player that Justin
Enter
was
the
just talking about.
Matrix. I love that one.
Yeah, and I loved Enter the Matrix. But an MMO just fits so perfectly because it does that thing where, like, what does an MMO do? It sucks you into a computerized world that, where is the line between your real
Mhm.
life and how much you need to go to the bathroom and, like, what's happening in front of you on the screen? Which part is the real one? And it was just, from the stories I hear, I wasn't really I'm living a lot of this secondhand because I didn't have a really good internet back when that happened, so I couldn't really access it. But just the way that, like, the factions were going, and everything, it was a solid game on top of being canonical and on, like, having a great mix of, like, what you were talking about with isolation, having, like, the themes involved and, like, actually getting you to play in a way that, like, makes sense for the world.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I'm willing to concede that because I didn't I had heard that the reason that I had heard that the reason that one character is not in the trailer is because of the video game, and I think that's totally meta to our conversation here.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I
That's
mean,
definitely
I'm willing to concede that.
okay.
As one of
All
the
right.
options, so.
I'm willing to put Matrix Online in there then. And then we got one more spot.
And I don't know. I see Two Towers on there, and I just know that is highly regarded among the video game community. So I don't know.
But The Lion King.
What the fuck?
That's true.
I couldn't get past the jungle, or not the jungle. I couldn't get past
the
Can't
Lion
Wait to Be
King is
King.
so hard. Like, I don't know. I think the Two Towers is more of a fulfillment of what the movie was in an interactive medium. Like, I just think it did it better as
every level in The Lion King transitions perfectly with the movie. And even the music does. Like, it keeps the same flow through the entire movie, just like Aladdin did back in the day. And it took
but Sean didn't get past the jungle. So
yeah, I mean, there's nothing. So Lion King, there's nothing like Lion King is based on Hamlet. There's nothing like poetic or Shakespearean about the Lion King game. There's not like Lion King is like, there's some dark stuff in it, but I don't know if anything's as dark as those swinging tails of those dang animals in the movie itself. I just
we're putting the Two Towers on it.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, so our top 5 list in no particular order, like always: Kingdom Hearts, Matrix Online, the MMO, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, Batman Begins, and GoldenEye for the N64.
There you go.
Wow.
That's a good
You
list.
guys had fun. First time hosting again. This was Justin. We've got Mike and Sean here. Great fights throughout the entire show. Hope you guys enjoyed everything.
Hang on. Before we end, I wanted to.
Another story.
Mike is joining the 90s first officially.
Yes, officially.
Oh yeah, he's moving up from guest 2 to co-host.
Just really quickly, I had a thought about the Activision Blizzard thing again. and I don't remember what it was. Dang it. I should have wrote it down. No, I just think that's interesting that you guys think that Xbox is gonna do that. Like, that would be massive.
I've been preaching that for a long time before the crutch was under Blizzard. Before this whole debacle happened with the courts and the suing. I was pitching Blizzard and Activision for a long time. I said it would be one of the greatest buys, and I floored Cicero with that answer on a debate.
Yeah,
because it's crazy because the amount of things they would gain from it, the amount of games, the amount of services, it would be insane. And they are known for cleaning house, like you said, with CD Projekt Red. They want to fix what's broken, and cleaning house and gaining all this content is a good idea.
Well, I don't know, like, so I remember exactly what I was going to ask you, Sean, and it was like, you said you were enlightened, so to speak. Like, is that your actual thought? Like, do you think that, like, it possibly could happen, and, like, do you think Microsoft will actually change that culture?
Okay, so I don't think Microsoft would change the culture. That one is a hard no. They might like maybe they'll like if the merger happened, like if they did acquire it, which I get is possible. I do think that like the motivation for short-term gain among like the really rich is a avenue. I don't think it's likely. Again, like you hit the nail on the head. I don't really like these questions, so I just went as hard as I could.
Yeah. No, I know you don't
and
like
wanted to
these
talk about what I
questions,
want to
for
talk
sure.
about. But yeah, I think possible acquisition, pretty hard no on actually performing in a way that matters.
Yeah. I don't know. I think CD Projekt Red is more plausible. Like,
Yeah.
I hope you agree with that. Like, I think it's just a lot more plausible because like I said, Activision owns so many things that are raking in the dough for them. Like, I just don't see the sell happening. But yeah, I mean, obviously, we're thinking about the developers. We are definitely thinking about the fact that their culture needs to change, and I do know that Microsoft has a fantastic culture right now, and so maybe that could happen. But I mean, even if they do get bought out, that doesn't mean that like the CEO of Activision is stepping down or not taking his $150 million a year of bonus for doing nothing. So
well, Rumor Town, obviously a grain of salt, but some of the names listed are Steam, that would be crazy.
That won't happen either.
Also 2K, the Rockstar company, adult company or parent company, which would also be a big one. I
think if they do, and it would actually be Take-Two. Take-Two is the parent company.
Yeah.
No, they own 2K, Rockstar, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I think the recent rumors was WB, which
that was previously though.
I don't know if that would cause a monopoly. I'm not entirely sure. But they do own a lot of properties such as like Lord of the Rings. I mean, Microsoft would own the new Hogwarts game coming out. They would own the Batman games, all the DC stuff. Like, so maybe, but I don't.
What do you
think
would be the craziest? What do you think the craziest acquisition could have been? Like the never gonna happen.
The craziest is either EA or Activision.
I think the craziest would be Sony.
Well, but that's never gonna happen. I'm thinking about plausibility. I'm thinking about plausibility as well. Sony would. Oh my goodness, they would puke if they got bought out. No, like plausibility wise, like I think EA and Activision would be the craziest out of anything that could happen, because EA, they literally own like all the sports licenses. They make so much money off microtransactions. Even they just bought a company. They just bought out the Dirt developers. So I mean, Codemasters, I believe, is there. So it's crazy to even think that like another Bethesda-sized company would happen.
Yeah, And if
So-
the Monopoly lawyers didn't get involved with Bethesda, then it must be something bigger than that, is the rumor. And that's you can't even think about it. It's crazy to think.
No, I don't. I mean, I think it would be something where maybe it's not bigger than Bethesda, but the fact that they would be adding that again,
Yeah, it could be, yeah.
that's where, like, if they're adding, like, even Sega, like, if they even add Sega, like, I think Monopoly lawyers could even look at that. Like, I mean, Sega's huge still. They're still making a lot of good quality games. I mean, the Yakuza series is Sega, that type of stuff. So insane. Anyway.
Anyway, I hope everybody had fun listening to the podcast. Again, if you want to leave us a review, feel free to, good or bad. First time hosting here, Justin. So hope you guys had fun. Mike, Sean, thanks for coming.
Yeah,
and,
you did a good job, man. Did a good job. And follow us on the socials, everybody, at the 90s First. We love you guys. Thanks for listening.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Oh, I wasn't trying to sign you off there. I was just saying I love people.
It's over now.
Party on, Ray.
Party on, guys.